What's up, interwebs? Welcome to the Storytime Podcast. I'm Tim.
And I'm Adam.
You did the point this time.
I did, and I'm
held
holding it.
You made sure.
Making sure you see it.
Well, what's that? What are you doing, Adam? I don't... Can you tell me we have a recording?
Open your eyes.
Oh, that's right. They want to open. Anyway, welcome to the Storytime Podcast. This is Season 2 of the Storytime Podcast. This is where we go through one of my old first drafts, and reads a chapter, then we discuss it. This season, we're going through my first book of an 8-book series. Well, at the time, it was supposed to be going to be 8 books. Marks of Eilira, Strangers from Another World. And we are now entering into chapter 14. I was about to say 4. Like, I don't know why my brain was, I was saying in my head, 4. Like, that is not correct. That is 14 on the page in my notes. So, but yeah, we're on chapter 14. We're, we don't have a direction of going after the last chapter.
No, not really.
I think at the end of chapter 12 we were kind of given, but we didn't heighten that at the end of chapter 13 to know. But so we're on chapter 14. So before we get to the reading by Adam, we got some stuff we got to get settled here.
Absolutely.
If you go on to enjoy this episode, we would love it if you go on and smash that like button and you do it as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got writing content on this channel. And if you're not interested in that, or you need something a little bit different, maybe some terrible gameplay will be your play, your thing. Adam?
Yeah. Have you ever thought about watching other people play video games on YouTube? Is that something that you would like? Well, then you should go check out ZOP Gaming, where it's a bunch of friends and myself playing video games.
So they're not your friends. You just kind of sit in there and
it's a group of friends, and then I'm actually just I'm in another room. They won't let me sit in the same room as them.
The way you phrase that,
I'm over on the side. So
are you invading some friends' gaming time?
I sit in the chair in the corner of the room while they play games.
I hate to tell you this. The reason why you have to do that is because of your face.
Oh, wait, what? That came back.
Oh, wait, wrong channel.
No.
Oh, wait, maybe that is on the channel now because the Writer's Mindscape is on here.
Yeah.
I think I said that there
over
too.
Here.
Okay. But, oh man, that came back. Yep, it came back. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to the reading, and then we'll be back to discuss chapter 14.
14. Guide to the Stones. The next morning, as usual, Alkline woke Zach and Ryan up at the normal time before the sun had risen. They got up with little problems. Their bodies were starting to adjust to getting up that early. Once up and changed into their clothes, they gathered up all their things, which were just their earth clothes, into Alkine's pack, and off they were to get some breakfast. Zach was surprised when Alkline got it to go. All 3 of them got the same thing. It was some kind of wrap. Once Zach took a bite, he found out that inside was full of green leaves, but they were not lettuce. Mixed in were some orange sticks that looked like carrots. Besides what it looked like, the wraps were very sweet and tasted like nothing on earth. With breakfast in hand, the 3 of them crossed the river and were on their way to Zajini. Just like the last few days, it took them the majority of the day to reach Zanjidi, which was mostly spent in silence. Zach had too many things on his mind, and one of them was whether Sphere had killed Violet yet. They would stop occasionally to rest and have lunch, but as soon as they were finished eating, they were on their way again. After a few days of constantly walking, Ryan and Zach were able to walk longer and faster, but not too much longer. The 3 of them arrived at Zanjini at dusk, and the sky looked as if it were on fire from the sun. The sky was full of orange, red, and pink, all mixed in a master painter's painting. With more than an hour left before the sun would set behind the mountains, Zach, Ryan, and Alkline walked into Zanjini and found a place to stay for the night. They headed for the heart of the city. They passed many different buildings of different sizes. Zach was amazed by the look of the buildings. They were far different from the buildings of Gayu. The city was much bigger than Zajini, but all the buildings were no bigger than 3 stories, whereas the buildings in Zajini were from 1 story to 6 stories. After several minutes, they reached the core of the city. Zach expected Alkline to stop and look for an inn, but he did not stop. He kept walking through the main streets of Zajini until he came to a tall, run-down 2-story building that was in desperate need of a paint job and repairs. Alkline did not stop at the door. He just walked right in. Zach and Ryan followed. Just as they walked through the door, Zach caught a sign that said Dale's Rare Artifacts. Once inside, Zach was blown away by what he saw. It was completely different inside. The place was full of hundreds of different kinds of weapons, staffs, stone tablets, scrolls, and more. And that was not the only thing. The whole inside looked brand new. The walls looked freshly painted, a sandy brown with new wood panels on the floor. Ryan was just as shocked as Zach and kept looking around, trying to figure out how something so crappy looking on the outside could be so nice on the inside. "Zach," said Ryan. "Yeah?" said Zach. "You know, this gives new meaning to it's not what's on the outside," said Ryan. "What is on the inside?" "You think?" said Zach. "Zach, Ryan," said Alkline. Both of them snapped to him and turned to see that Alkline was on the far wall next to a counter. As they turned to see them, they saw a young woman walking in the back. They walked over to Alkline, checking out the unique artifacts on their way. Once they reached Alkline, he too was looking at some items they had. "Alkline," said Zach, "how is this possible?" "What possible?" asked Alkline. "All of this," said Zach. "This place is supposed to be a dump. Well, at least that's what it looks like, what I expected before we walked inside." "Oh, that," said Alkline. "DL is a treasure hunter, as I told you." "Treasure hunting only makes you so much," said a voice. Zach and Alkline turned to see that the woman had entered, but was standing with a tall, muscular man. He was a few inches shorter than Alkline, but was more built. His curly black hair stuck to his head like Velcro. His clothes looked new and expensive. His tunic was bright blue with dark brown pants and a dark brown leather belt with a short sword attached to it. "It also costs money to get an information on whether those other treasures might be located, as well as to go buy enough food so I can explore," continued the tall man. "After everything is done, some things become more important, and having a nice-looking building is not one of them." "Oh," said Zach. "DL," said Alkline as he extended his hand, and DL grasped it and pulled him in. The two embraced, then released the hug. "It's been a long time." "It has," said DL. "What have you been up to? Do you have any news on the war?" "I have been busy," said Alkline. "Yes, but it is not good. We should speak in private." "Sure thing," said DL. "Jerry, please keep an eye on the store and do not interrupt us." The young woman looked to be in her early 20s, with her round, beautiful face and shining blonde hair. She just gave DL a nod and went back to what she was doing. DL turned and headed back through the opening to the back, and Alkline followed him. So did Zach and Ryan. They walked across the back until they came to a door that DL stopped and opened, revealing a staircase leading to the second floor. He motioned for them to continue, which Alkline did without hesitation while DL held the door. Zach followed after him, then Ryan and DL, and then shut the door. "How do you get people to come in if your building looks like a piece of garbage?" asked Ryan as they headed to the second floor. "That's easy. Once you get your name out there for what you have, they find you, and once they get what they want, they spread the word to their friends," said DL. "Most of the people in Jenny will most likely never step foot in my shop because they could not afford to buy anything I had, even if I did want it." After a few moments of climbing the steep steps, they reached the second floor. Alkline opened the door and walked in. The rest followed. Zach was wondering where they were going, but he now knew it was where DL lived. He had a small apartment above his store that was just as clean and new-looking as the store below. DL closed the door behind him and quickly locked it, just in case they were interrupted. Alkline, Ryan, and Zach walked over to some chairs and sat down around a small table. DL joined them moments later. "So, what's new with the war?" asked DL as soon as he sat down. "We are losing numbers," said Alkline. "Also, DeMarcus is missing." "What?" said DL. "When did this happen?" "Few days ago," said Alkline. "What are you talking about?" said Zach. "He's in my mark." "I was just about to get to that," said Alkline. "By the way, DL, this is Zach and Ryan. DeMarcus had to hide on Earth and put a mark on Zach's neck. However, after I found him, by the time I returned, he was gone, with no clue of where he might have been." "That's not good. What are we going to do without our king?" asked DeMarcus. He will show up once he does whatever he needs to, said Alkaline. The reason why we came is that I need to call in a favor. Sure, anything. You name it, you've got it, said DL. I need to know where the stones of time are located, said Alkaline. Silence filled the room as Alkaline had told DL what he needed. DL's face told you what he was thinking. He was shocked to find out what Alkaline wanted, but after hearing it, his face became more serious. His eyes slowly closed partly, and he just stared right at Alkaline. Zach and Ryan were not sure why DL, who was so willing to help a moment ago, stopped talking. The glare he was giving to Alkaline looked as if he was trying to win an argument, but without speaking. They had some kind of disagreement going on, but neither one was saying what it was, only by staring at each other. After many minutes, the silent argument ended, and the verbal one began. No, said DL. You don't have a choice, said Alkaline. You owe me. And you told me then, and just a few minutes ago, anything. Now, you're going to have to go back on your word over an artifact? Not just any artifact, shouted DL, jumping to his feet, causing his chair to crash to the floor. Artifacts that are believed to be legend, fictional, not real. By finding them, I will be the most well-known treasure hunter of all time. I know how important finding these stones are to you, said Alkaline, remaining calm and in his chair. However, I'm in a little bit of a jam, and I need the stones. You don't even believe the stones are real, said DL. Why on earth would you be more interested in them now? DL glared at Alkaline again, looking at him, knowing he had no reason at all. His face turned red from his anger, and beads of sweat started to appear. Spear asked me to get them, said Alkaline. DL's jaw dropped, and Zach thought it was about to hit the table. Well, not really, but the look on DL's face was sure implied that his mouth was about to open. He stood stunned from hearing that one of the Lords of Magi wanted the stones. After a few moments of pondering, he bent over, picked up his chair, set it back on its legs, and then sat back down. His face had returned to his normal color, and his anger had seemed to calm down as well. Why does Sphere want the stones? Why did he ask a sentinel to get them? Asked DL. Because of DeMarcus, said Alkaline. He was able to get one of the legendary marks, but ran into some trouble and got injured. He ended up hiding on a mark he made on Zach's neck, but that brought Gamgee to him, and he kidnapped one of his friends. Unless we bring Sphere the stones so he can remove the mark and get back his mark, he will kill Violet. I see. Makes sense, said DL. If Sphere wanted them for himself, he would do it. But because he needs them to remove the mark, then why not send the people who caused him this trouble? But I thought you said DeMarcus was missing. I misspoke, said Alkaline. He is in Zach's mark, healing. Fine, said DL. I will tell you, on 2 conditions. What are they? Asked Alkaline. I will go with you to find them, said DL. I will get them after you're done with them. No problem, said Alkaline. You can even have all the credit for finding the stones. Good, said DL. Where are they located? Asked Alkaline. My latest information points me to the UA mines, said DL. Great, said Alkaline. We'll leave early tomorrow morning. Meet us on the skirts of the city in the morning. I will, said DL. With that done, Alkaline stood, and so did Ryan and Zach. They walked over to the door, while DL remained at the table watching them. Alkaline unlocked the door and pulled it open and disappeared down the stairs. Ryan was the last to follow and closed the door behind him. Within minutes, they were all back on the streets of Zajeni, where the light was getting dimmer. They walked a few blocks when they came to a small inn. The building was a little taller than DL's store. It was 3 stories, and it did not look like it should be condemned. The 3 walked in, and Alkaline got 2 rooms. After paying the man behind the counter, they walked up to the 3rd floor and found their rooms. Here are your rooms, said Alkaline. I got some business to take care of. You should have some food arriving soon. Why didn't we just go out and get food like we did in Gayu? Asked Ryan. I would let you get your own food, said Alkaline. Zeiji is one of the few cities where the majority of people are loyal to the Seven Lords. I would rather not have you run into any dedicated followers. If they found out you were with the rebels, they would kill you on the spot. You should stay here. You both have got your own room. Make sure you go to bed early. Alkaline turned and headed back the way he had just come. Zach was not sure why they each got their own room. He opened the door and got his answer. The room was very small, only enough room for one bed and a dresser with some space to move around. 2 beds would make it impossible to move around if you left space between the 2 beds. Ryan went into his room as well, but came over to Zach's a few minutes of being bored. They sat on the bed and talked for a few minutes before a knock came on the door. "Who is it?" asked Zach. "I was told to bring up some food," said a voice. "Oh, hold on." Zach walked over and opened the door. Standing in the hall was a young kid, about the same age as Zach. He was not much taller than Ryan and wore ragged clothes with holes in them, as well as patches on other holes. His shirt was faded green with pants that were not in much better condition, which were also faded black. He held a tray with plate of some kind of food that smelled delicious, and the smell reached his nose, which followed a loud grumble from his stomach. "Thanks. Do you have any other room's food as well?" asked Zach, taking the tray from the young man. "Yeah," said the young man. "He's not in his room." "I am right here," said Ryan, peeking out from behind the door. "Oh, sorry," said the young man. "Let me get yours." The young man disappeared down the hall, but was back in a few moments with a tray with the same dish that was on Zach's plate. He handed the tray to Ryan, who grasped the tray and pulled it to him. Once Ryan had the tray, the young man turned and headed back down the hall. Using his foot, Zach closed the door and returned to his spot on the bed, where Ryan was already sitting and eating his dinner. They both eat what turned out to be spaghetti, but a different type of sauce, very quickly. It was not long after they finished eating that they both started to nod off to sleep. Ryan realized this and got up and headed back to his room, but he took both of their trays and placed them out in the hall. Zach acknowledged Ryan by being able to fully lie on his bed. Within minutes, he was out, but the night passed so quickly, the next thing he knew was Alkaline shaking him awake. "What?" said Zach, half asleep. "It's time to get up," said Alkaline. "Seems like you don't need to change since you slept in your clothes." "Huh?" asked Zach. "Nothing," said Alkaline. "Just get up and get Ryan and come outside." Zach knew Alkaline had left, not because he saw him, but he really could not see anything since his eyes were still closed. He heard the loud bang as he slammed the door, and his bed shook from the vibrations. It took Zach a few minutes before he was able to get out of bed and to his feet. Once he had his balance, he walked over to the door and opened it, and walked out into the hall. He walked down to the next room and knocked. Ryan opened it. He was far more awake than Zach was. "Time to go," said Zach. "Okay," said Ryan. "What happened to you?" "I just woke up." "Why are you so awake?" Zach asked as they headed down the hall. "I woke up about 20 minutes ago when Alkaline first came in," said Ryan. "I just had to change." "Oh," said Zach. They came to the staircase and took all the main floor and out onto the street. The sun was just starting to rise. The dark blue sky with different shades of pink and orange was starting to push the darkness away. The two spotted Alkaline just up the street, his back to them. They walked over to him, and he turned slightly and saw them coming and began to walk off. Zach began to wonder why he did not wait for them, but from the way he was walking, he was trying to lose them, just keep some distance between them. After walking for a few minutes, Alkaline took a sudden left, which took him deeper into the city instead of to the end. "I thought we were heading off for the mines," Ryan said before Zach could say the same thing. "Did I?" said Zach with a puzzled look on his face. Over the next several minutes, the three would take several sudden turns onto different streets. Just when Zach thought he figured out where they were going, Alkaline would take another turn. Eventually, Zach just gave up trying to figure out where they were going. After about 15 minutes of sudden changes and going in circles, Alkaline finally stopped in front of the 3 houses. Zach and Ryan were finally able to fill in the gap between them. "Why did we just go in circles?" asked Zach. "We passed the same building 4 times. "I counted 6, said Ryan. "Oh," said Zach. "Now I think about it, I started counting after the first 2 times. "Quiet," said Alkaline. Zach and Ryan saw that Alkaline had a very stern look on his face, which told Zach there was a reason for what they had just done. "I had to make sure no one was watching where we were going," said Alkaline. What do you mean? Said Ryan. We're going to a place that no one can see us go, said Alkaline. That's why we passed this place 8 times. But yes, we did pass that one building 6. You two are still not fully awake. Where are we going that no one can follow us? Asked Zach. It's a stockpile, said Alkaline. People who were loyal to the High Kingdom, some were willing to give space for the Sentinels to store items for their members. They're all over Eilira. But recently, the numbers have started to dwindle. The lords are cracking down on finding out who is helping us. The one we are going to is the last stockpile in Ishashore, which is why I had to make sure no one was following us. Okay, said Zach and Ryan, now understanding why they did what they did. Here's what we're going to do, said Alkaline. The house on the left at the bottom of this hill has a door to its basement. I'm going to walk the street we already walked down twice and cut the alley to the basement. I want you two to wait 5 minutes before walking down this street. Once you reach the bottom of the hill, take a quick left into the alley. As soon as you're in the alley, you'll see a bunch of boxes stacked up about 10 feet, not far down. On the other side, you are the entrance to the basement. Knock 3 times, continued Alkaline. Then once, and wait. If I am inside, the door will open. If I am not inside, more knocks will come, which you will need to respond to in this order. 1 knock, pause. 6 knocks, pause. 3 knocks, half pause. 1 knock. If not done correctly, on the first time, they will not open the door without the sign, and if you cannot do so, don't mess it up. Alkaline turned and headed down the road they had already traveled down twice. Within a few moments, he was out of sight. Zach and Ryan stood where they were, waiting for 5 minutes so they could head down the other road that they had yet to go down. Zach could not believe how long it took for 5 minutes to go by. Let's go, said Zach. Has it been 5 minutes? Asked Ryan. I have no clue, said Zach. If it hasn't, it'll take us at least the rest of the time to get to the bottom of the hill. Okay, said Ryan. The two headed off down the road to their right and passed by several huge buildings as they walked by. They quickly began going down a steep hill that twisted and turned. After several twists and turns, they came before they realized they were no longer going downhill. They had been walking for a few minutes on flat ground. How long have we been walking downhill? Asked Ryan. At least a few minutes, said Zach, looking at Ryan with sudden realizations. We passed where we were supposed to turn. The two turned and ran back the way they came. It was only a matter of minutes before they started to feel a slight incline. They turned now to their right and saw a few feet behind them was an alley, so they turned and walked over to it. As they reached the alley, Zach realized it was exactly where the hill flattened out. He was so saddened, he did not feel so bad about missing it now. Ryan walked into the alley first, followed by Zach. They quickly noticed the box piled up and ran over to them, and once there, walked to the other side only to find more boxes. The boxes on the side where the entrance was supposed to be were not piled up as high as the one blocking them. They were more thrown on top of each other, but no entrance. Zach quickly became confused and started to wonder if they were in the wrong alley. Ryan looked further down the alley to see if it was not directly behind the boxes, but no such entrances existed. We must be in the wrong alley, said Ryan, looking at Zach with a puzzled look. We can't be, said Zach. I did not see any other alleys, and Alkaline told us that it was directly at the bottom of the hill. Then maybe the boxes are covering up the entrance, said Ryan as he walked over to the boxes. He bent over, grabbed one of the boxes, and began to lift it when the whole pile started to move. Zach, I think we found the entrance. I think so, said Zach. A little help? This is heavy, said Ryan. Zach walked over to Ryan, grabbed a box, and began to lift. As they began to stand up, a board appeared under the boxes. Ryan helped the one with all of his strength, and Zach let go of the box with his right hand and grabbed the board. Once his right hand had it, he let go with his left and grabbed the board as well. With Zach having both hands on the board, Ryan slowly let go of the boxes, hand by hand, and grabbed onto the board as well. With both of them holding the board, they began to lift upward. They found out it was much easier to lift and stopped up to see that the board was attached to a hinge that allowed the board to move towards the wall. Once the board was as close to the wall as it was going to get, they looked down to see a set of steps that led down to a door. Ryan went down first as Zach held the board in place, but he noticed in the corner was a piece of rope tied to the board. He realized that the board would stay in its place and the rope was there to pull it closed once down the steps. So he let go of the board and followed after Ryan. The steps went about 7 feet below the street, and their hands were completely covered. Zach and Ryan looked at each other at the wooden door that was before them. Zach stepped up to it and raised his hand and knocked on the door as Alkline told him to. Bang, bang, bang. Bang. The knocks echoed through the alley, bouncing off from each building as Zach hit the door. Once he finished, Zach waited, hoping that Alkline was there, because he was not sure if he could remember the response he needed to give if more knocks came. After a few minutes, a loud bang came from the other side of the door. Zach's fear came true. He had to remember. He stepped back up to the door, raised his hand, and just as he was about to start, the door opened. Alkline stood before them. "What took you so long?" asked Alkline. "I was about to come looking for you. Why did you not close the board?" "I thought we did that after the door opened." "No," said Alkline, walking out of the basement into the stairwell. He grabbed the rope and gave it a quick tug, and the board came crashing down on them. But slowly, just as it was about to hit, it came to rest without making a sound. "You need to close the board before knocking. Oh, come in." Ryan and Zach walked into the basement, and the door shut behind him. Zach turned and saw a beautiful blonde-haired girl about their age standing before him. Her hair was pulled back into a ponytail. She wore a long white nightgown, not changing before they got there. "What took you so long?" asked Alkline. "We walked right past the alleyway," said Ryan. "We didn't even notice it until afterwards," said Zach. "If you were paying attention," said Alkline, "you would have noticed it is the only alleyway." "Sorry," said Zach. "Once we realized we found it, the boxes threw us for a loop." "Did you think it would be visible to anyone who walked back here?" said Alkline. "Of course, it is covered. You two have no common sense." "Sorry," said Zach. "Don't worry about it," said Alkline. "You're here now. Time to do business. Ayers, can you please take them to the back and give them the items I asked for?" "Yes, Alkline," said the blonde-haired girl. "Follow me." Ayers turned and walked her to her left to a hallway. Zach and Ryan followed her, not sure what Alkline was talking about. They followed her for a few moments before she stopped suddenly and turned to face them. They stood there for a few moments, seeing what they were not moving. She broke the silence. "In there are 2 rooms," said Ayers. "You will find your chainmail and swords. You can change in there, then come back out once you're done." Not waiting for them to move, Ayers pushed past them and headed back to the main room and disappeared. Zach and Ryan walked into the 2 rooms. Zach took the room to the right, while Ryan took the one on the left. There was no door to the rooms, just curtains, so he closed the curtains, then turned around to see a chainmail shirt lying on the chair with a sword leaning up against the back. Not wanting to keep Alkline waiting, he quickly removed his tunic and grabbed the chainmail, put his head through the opening, pulled it over his head, and pushed his arms through the proper holes. Once he had the shirt on, he realized the chainmail only covered his chest, not his arms. Not too worried that he would be going to be fighting, he figured Alkline wanted us to have some kind of protection. With the chainmail on, he put his tunic back on and grabbed the sword and slid the belt through the loops on the sheath of the belt, and then placed the belt around his waist. Now dressed, he turned and pulled the curtains back and returned to the main room.
Okay, welcome back, Adam.
Yes.
Initial thoughts of the chapter. I know mine are. I know mine. I mean, there's a lot to say about this chapter.
Yeah, I legit just read this a couple of hours ago. And first of all, my initial thought is, enjoy the accents, my friend. Enjoy them.
Yeah, I got to get to, it's another one I get to find out as I'm editing this.
But there was just a lot of walking.
Oh, trust me, I was supposed to say that. You know what my initial thoughts on this are?
And then they get there.
You know what my initial thoughts on this is?
What?
It just ends.
It
It
does.
There's no, like, cliffhanger. There's just it ends.
Also, I love the fact that, one of the main points of this is, Alkline giving DL the information of DeMarcus.
Oh, I have my notes on that one too.
And you wrote in that
did.
DeMarcus was there and talked.
On a
But
surprise appearance.
No one paid attention to it.
Surprise appearance by DeMarcus that
Yeah.
no one saw.
Yeah. Especially since I had to remember that voice.
Only the narrator.
Yeah.
I hope you remember that voice, Adam, because you're gonna need it for the climax.
I just went with a voice.
You're gonna need it for the climax.
He's a
Oh,
tough guy.
spoiler alert!
What? DeMarcus showing up for the
I know.
climax? No.
It's either that or he's not gonna show up for like 4 more books again. But yeah, it just ends. That was my biggest takeaway from this and biggest comment. But I do have a question for you, Adam. Maybe you can answer this because I couldn't answer this.
Uh-huh.
So does it only takes does it take 3 days? Hold on. It only takes 3 days in this world to completely adapt to moving. Oh, no, that's a different thing. Hold on, that's a different one. So it only takes 3 days in this world to adapt to completely changing how you move and work more and after a good night's sleep.
Okay.
So I made it very clear in this book. This is more work than Zach and Ryan have ever done in a day.
Yeah.
Yet their bodies are adapting to it within 3 days.
They're not really adapting. They're just realizing that it's not adapting.
No, they're not, because they would be more sore and
Yeah.
achy if that is. But I wrote it as they're not achy and sore. They're just more awake and more alert all of a sudden, which would take weeks of this.
Maybe.
Even though they're young, it would take them. They'd be more sore. They especially when they sleep on the ground.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
those aches and pains that they said they solved from the bath would still be there the next morning, no matter
you'd
what.
Wake up the next morning and be like, oh,
Yeah, but no,
there's new ones.
nope. It's
Nope. Nothing.
so it only takes 3 days for your body
And
to adjust.
It's the bath.
It only took 3 days to. There must be some kind of magic in that bath for
It's
that to
the
happen.
bath. Because they were sore up to the bath, and then nothing after since.
I found the question I want you to confirm to me.
Oh, okay.
So does it take a day or 3 days to get to Zinjini? Because the way it's written, it's a day, but then afterwards it says 3 days. I think it's referring to 3 days of walking, of being there, but I read it where it might have been actually been 3 days to get to Zinjini. And I can't even know if I'm pronouncing that word correctly, and I'm the one who came up with it.
Yeah. No. After a few days of constantly walking, Ryan and Zach were able to walk longer and faster, but not too much longer.
Yeah.
That's just them the trip so far.
Yeah, but when you read it at times, it feels like they're talking about 3 days have more days have passed.
Nah.
That's what I kind of thought I was going with, but at the same time, no.
They got there before sunset.
Yeah, but that was it's the way I read it. It's just like, huh?
It's a day's worth of walk.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, no, it's a day's worth. But they say this, so I just had to put that down there because I'm like, no, it's probably a day, but it sounds like 3 more days somehow passed in that day.
Also, the fact that it's been like a couple of weeks in this overall book so far. And Alkline, it's like, how long has DeMarcus been missing? A couple of days.
No, it's only been a few days. When you think about it, it's been
No.
about a week at most.
No, he was suspended for 3 days.
No,
The dance was a week after that.
his suspension was lifted because of the attack.
He's had 2 weekends so far.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so. I think he only had 1, and it was part of that week. We'll get there. You're getting ahead of yourself, Adam. I do want to point out, I do like how the deal, explanation of why his building is so ugly
Oh, yeah, nobody's going to rob this place.
and everything.
If it looks like crap.
But it doesn't explain the nice inside.
No, not at all.
Not at all. And the whole I do like Ryan and Zach's Ryan's thing. This has takes a whole new meaning of what's on the inside than what's on the outside trope. I'm like, you think?
Derp.
Derp. And why is Alclin lying about DeMarcus leaving the mark?
I don't know.
And then correcting himself that he misspoke earlier on. Oh, he just misspoke. Sure, DeMarcus. I mean, Alclin, you misspoke. Did you not see DeMarcus? He just appeared here.
Yeah, he popped it. He literally, DeMarcus pops in to existence with, Alcline's talking about after I found him, by the time I returned, he was gone with no clue of where he might have been. It's like, no, he's in the mark. Zach just told you that he's in the mark.
Yep. No one's paying attention.
You said.
Yep.
Right before that sentence. By the way, Dale, this is Zach and Ryan. DeMarcus had to hide on Earth and put a mark on. Oh, he doesn't know that DeMarcus is in there, even though.
No, he knows.
Zach had just said, he's in my mark.
Alclin knows he's in there.
But he's like, then he was gone. I have no clue where he might be.
And then when he's like, I thought you said he wasn't in the mark. He was gone.
But
he's
then DeMarcus shows up.
I know, and I missed that when I read that. I would have made comments if I caught that.
I don't know where DeMarcus could be. DeMarcus goes, that's not good. What are we going to do without our king? And then disappears.
It's supposed to be Deal.
What the hell?
It's supposed to be Deal who says that, but I wrote DeMarcus for some reason, apparently.
Oh, my God.
And when I read that, I completely missed that he said DeMarcus. I said DeMarcus said that. So, I believe... I'm not going to spoil it. I think the reason why Alclin says he misspoke is explained later on.
Okay.
And there's a reason for it. But in here, it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it seems like either I forgot that he knew, and this is what he thinks, and then remember when I came back to it, or I did know this, and I just completely forgot that. But the way it's written, it feels like a mistake or something that doesn't play off.
That either Alcline's trying to hold cards to his chest.
Yep.
Or
because it would make
he's an idiot.
But
I am playing him with, a mixture of William Shatner and Keanu Reeves.
And it fits that. And this will fit.
Look, man, I'm just trying to do my stuff, bro.
Because if it was him playing the cards, Zach could have said, but, and Alclin looking to him
would
like,
have cut him up.
He left.
No, he's in my mark.
Yeah. When Zach, everyone, even Ryan apparently ignores Zach in this moment when he's talking. And again, we have some head hopping, by the way. And by the way, Adam, right now, this moment, Adam, me and you, we're gonna have a silent argument whereby we're just gonna stare at you differently, and it's gonna end with you saying no. Ready? Go.
No, merde.
I wrote that. I was like, I know I was getting there. You see those people kind of read each other's mind. They're reading each other.
Yeah.
But I wrote it like they're actually having a full conversation between each other.
And no. But what about?
That's how it's written, though. Like they're actually having a conversation, not they're trying to read each other. And well, the Deal is trying to read Alclin if he can get away with this, and Alclin's just saying, "No, you're not." And the Deal just saying, "No."
Alcline's every look that he keeps giving back,
his ducky face.
Is just, dude.
Dude.
That's the only argument he has. Dude. And DL's just like, but sir, you don't seem to come. Allow me to finish my thought here. But come on now. No.
So
you don't have a choice.
By the way, we're head hopping all over the place in this chapter.
It's great.
It were like so much head hopping. I literally think we head hopped into Lord Spirit at one point, and he's not even really mentioned in this story, this chapter, barely. But somehow I'm pretty sure we jumped into his head probably. And here's a question, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Alclin explains what's going on, why didn't I just, instead of having him rehash everything in dialogue, just use some description saying he filled him in on what has been going on?
You know, you could have
Nope,
done that.
I literally decided we need to repeat this information right now, here, now.
Well, yeah.
And there's a reason for that. We'll get to it a little in the correction stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's why I did it. And then let's do it again. Alclin misspoke. Alclin misspoke about DeMarcus. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just remembered. Oh, that's right. He is in the mark. My bad.
Oh, man.
That's right. Oh,
I
Zach,
stopped
Zach.
seeing him for a while.
That's right. Zach just said he was in this mark. Duh. I should really pay attention to when he speaks instead of hearing that buzzing sound when his lips are flapping.
Shut up,
Womp.
Zach.
Does Alclin hear Zach sounding like womp 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 womp? No, that's what Zach hears when adults speak.
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense here. And then after he finally gets Deal to agree to it, and all as long as he can have the credit for finding the stones of time.
Yep.
Sure. Yep, yeah, I'll help you then.
All right.
I get the credit, right? Yes, you get the credit. And where we find out that Zenjini is completely loyal to Lord Sphere.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Oh, we don't know? We're not going to cover that? Got it.
Nope.
It's not important. You just need to know this. What has he done for them that they're completely loyal? Has he brainwashed them?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because there's a way to brainwash people in this world.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think we ever cover it in this book, but there's a way.
this entire, all the way up to Zach getting woken up the next morning, unnecessary page.
There's a reason why it's written that way.
Yeah, I know. Exposition.
No. Well, that part too, but like, the lack of dialogue in the end tells me I had nothing new to say, which goes back to what I mentioned in the last episode. You want more explanation, and conversation there. I had nothing new to say, so I didn't have it,
No,
and I didn't have it here. So I just said they're gonna have a conversation. There's something we could probably try to process here, but even I don't now, knowing what happens, knowing where I was going, anything I could add to here. Other than Zach maybe going, do you think he's killed her? You think she's still alive?
Yeah.
And it's just that nah.
Nope.
Oh, so then we wake up, we get the food to go. It's like weird lettuce, but it's not lettuce in there, and orange things that look like carrots but aren't carrots.
So it's lettuce and carrots.
Totally lettuce and carrots apparently in this wrap. And instead of leaving,
Nope.
they go somewhere else.
They wander around town for a while.
And Zach is like, when did I say that? But that's really supposed to be Alclin saying that.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I knew you wanted to bring that up. And it's like, when did I say that? Zach, you didn't say that. I didn't say that. So, a little side story, Adam, about the stockpile. This idea of random stockpiles of weapons and stuff like that in cities was one of my earliest ideas. I could not understand why a rebel force wouldn't have something like this in pretty much every city.
Well, yeah. That would happen.
But you never really hear. Now, it probably did happen a lot in history, but you never hear about that stuff if it did, unless you go and study it and you find it.
Right.
But like it was just like I was reading, like of course there would be someone. You know, this city is very much loyal to Lord Sphere. there are going to be people who aren't.
Well, yeah.
So obviously, or if you can't find anyone who's willing to come forward and admit that they're not loyal, you're gonna put people there to house this.
Right.
But I had this idea and I loved it so much, and it's in repeated books you see them go to different places like this. But it's not but you don't get anything really special there.
I just love the fact that they legit keep walking around the same neighborhood for a while.
And the explanation is we gotta make sure no one's following us.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it does make sense. But you should... How often they go... I don't have the map.
Okay.
I don't have the map of this location, for this book. I did see the map for when they do this in Clock of Ages, and I don't think it's nearly as much as walking around.
Okay. I just like the fact that Zach realized, he's like, we've passed this building 4 times. Ryan's like,
no, it was 6 times.
It's 6. Alkaline then goes, it's been 8.
Well, no, after Ryan points out 6, he's like, yeah, that's right. I didn't start counting for until at least 2. That would make sense. And Alkaline's like, no, it was actually 8.
It was 2 more beyond that.
It was 8. You guys aren't still not awake enough.
God damn, you are stupid children.
Okay, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got. Well, okay, don't worry about that. I was looking at the Zach logic moment. I questioned here. But here's my favorite part of this chapter. Is okay. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go down this street. I'm gonna go into an alley, and go to the stockpile. In 5 minutes, you two are gonna do the same. You're gonna go the entrance to the stockpile is in the basement, and it's behind the box of crates. Box of crates. It's over there. Got it? Here's what you're gonna do when you get there. You're gonna knock. If I'm not there, you're gonna be a knock will come back. You need to repeat this in this order.
Yeah. Oh, I love that one.
To 2 people he just admitted aren't fully awake.
1 knock, pause. 6 knocks, pause. 3 knocks, half pause. And I said it just like that.
Yep.
1 knock.
Yeah. To 2 kids he just said
if not done correctly on the first time, they will not open the door without the sign. And if you cannot do so, don't mess it up. It's like, why? Sorry, why?
And then leaves. Wine Runners, this has been 5 minutes, and it's like, I don't care anymore. If it isn't, by the time we get down there, enough time will pass.
Yeah, hopefully.
And they seem to walk right past the place. Realizing, like, wait, I think we walked past it. I don't get it. Come back to the...
there it is.
There it is. They find it. You're like, okay, he sits behind those crates. There's some 10 feet. Okay, that makes sense. Walk around it. No entrance. Eventually, May's behind under these boxes and something like that. No, he didn't say it was. Lift up a box. The whole thing lifts up.
Oh.
And then they go down. They knock. A knock comes back. Zach panics that he doesn't remember the order. And then before he can go to knock, the door opens and Alkin's there. And he scolds them.
What took you so long?
Not just that. He scolds them for not what took him so long. And second of, why did you close the hatch?
Like,
here's my Zach.
And I believe it.
I believe that you're supposed to close it after the door open. That's my Zach logic there. That you don't close it until afterwards. And it's a question mark on the logic.
They closed the door.
But they didn't close the door because Alkaline has to come out and close it for them.
But he realized the board would stay in its place and the rope was there to pull it closed once down the steps. So he let go of the board and... Yeah, they just left the door open.
Yep. And it bellowed through the entire alleyway. But Zach logic, you do it when you close, when the door opens? That question mark? Is that exact logic? I think it is.
He's just an idiot.
He's an idiot, but I think it is Zach logic. But it's a very weak Zach logic. It's not his best Zach logic. The sword fighting, you can have the money if you can beat me in a sword fight. It's more exact logic than this is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alkaline scolds them for something he never told them.
Yeah.
He's like, do you think it's going to be out in the open? What if someone walks through there? You think we want the door to be seen?
I also love the fact that it's the only alley along that road.
I know.
And Zach's just like, yeah, man, we walked right past it.
Apparently he's not paying
Like,
attention.
you guys are so dumb.
It's just like, okay. You know what? I'm adding it here. We've had some other logics here. We've had some Ryan's logic. Adam, this is our first Alkaline logic.
Yep. He's like, man, these guys failed at a test that I didn't give them all the instructions for. Man, they're terrible. It's not me who's wrong. It's clearly them.
They should know this stuff, bro. And yeah, common sense is treated to. He wants common sense, but he's treating he needs to treat these two teenage boys from another world like they're toddlers. Not give them common sense tests here. Your common sense is different than their common sense. Oh, and the ending is just the greatest ending of all time for the chapter.
Hey guys, walk into those rooms.
And put this chainmail on and the sword on there.
Yeah,
and then come back out.
Yeah.
Oh, you did that? Okay. He went back to the main room. Bravo.
Chapter end.
Genius.
Chapter end.
Genius ending of the chapter.
You know what? Cinema.
Cinema. No, not cinema. Literature.
No, this is transcended literature.
Sure.
It became cinema.
When it's not even cinema. Yeah. That's such a great storytelling.
This is one of the chapters written of all time.
Yep. One of the chapters of all time. Not the greatest. Just one of the chapters of all
It's
time.
definitely one of them.
It's one of them. We're not going to tell you where it falls into.
Look, I'm not going to rank it. Don't make me do that.
So, thoughts?
Incredibly,
Way too long?
there was unnecessary information in here.
Like what?
Like, we can start off right away by being like, hey, boys, this city that we're going to is not a friendly city.
Yep.
Before they even get there, they meet with DL. DL's like, hey, here's my information. Yeah, I got your information. Boom, we do that. We go. They leave there, go to the inn. You don't even need to tell me that the travel there or anything, because the reason for that being there is to let you know that the city is not friendly.
Yep.
But we've already done that. Now we just have them wake up. Okay, cool. They're groggy as fuck. It is just before sunrise.
But they're not groggy. Ryan's wide awake.
Ryan's already been awake, but then they're groggy later on.
But they're not fully awake.
Yeah, no, that's groggy. Anyway, it should be, if you want to have it, you could still have them mess up their entire thing. And even better is quite literally to the knock, knock. Like, they are groggy.
Yep.
Alkaline woke them up pre-dawn. Like, it's still dark, but you can see the terminus line is starting to change.
Yep.
You're like, oh crap. Okay, why are we awake so early?
Yep.
Even Ryan's was like, I was not ready for this.
Yeah.
And then you give them all of that instruction. And before either boy, who are still going, we passed this building like 7 times. And they're like, actually, it's been 12.
You guys aren't awake.
We've literally been circling this block so many times. Give them the instructions on how to knock, even with the backup knock, and then walk away from them before they can say anything. That way, when they go down the other street that brings them to the other side of the alley,
Yep.
they screw it up.
So, you're gonna find out something.
What?
In a few chapters that will make this whole not being followed scene. You're gonna question it.
Oh, okay.
Massively question it. And it's not because I came up with something in that chapter. It's one of those things I knew from the very beginning.
Oh.
Like I knew in the first when I came up with one of the base powers for it, everything. But it's gonna make you question why they did this anyway.
Okay. All right. But yeah,
Let me get there. I will explain. I'll do it. But okay. So
like-
how would you fix this chapter?
Yeah, that's pretty. There would be a lot of shrinking of certain scenes that I don't really feel are all that necessary. And you know,
I would have. My thing is the everything for the with Deal. Last chapter,
even though it's a different place.
different place. I would put it because we're shrinking down the bath scene
Yeah.
and everything. Shrink that down, fit this there. We end with the agreement that Deal will help them find it as long as he's there and he gets the credit for the finding the stones.
Okay.
And they go to their hotel. The next part where they wake up. This is part of the chapter 14
Okay.
and this because this is setting up that, and just gives us better than just it ends. It's cinema ending.
No, that is the best ending I've ever. You could have actually to even give it a little bit of cliffhanger drama.
Yeah.
They knock on the door. And the door, they don't hear anything for a little bit. Zach is about to start the next knock system.
Yep.
And the door is ripped open and both boys are pulled through the doorway, and that's where you end it.
That could have been better.
And they're like, "Oh no!"
I think,
And it's Alkaline who's like, yeah. Well, I mean, it's guards.
I think in later drafts I have them something like that. It's not where the chapter ends, but something like they're pulled in. But I can't remember. It's like there's so many different versions of this book. But how I would fix it, like I said, split it up there, fine tune, have something appear in the scene with the meeting with Deal. It's supposed to be
DL.
It's supposed to be DL. Or
Dial.
Daliel, I think is what I wanted to pronounce. It's not spelled that way, but nothing how I spell the names here are how I wanted them pronounced. So that gives them something to talk about while they're at least at there, and also the recapping of what's going on. It's just a summary. Alkaline fills him in.
Yep.
And then misleads him.
And definitely have less DeMarcus in this episode.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be
less Spear too.
Yeah.
I would make it very clear that he is deliberately withholding information. In the thing he doesn't, but he tells him a lie or something like that.
Something.
Exactly like he said this, but it wasn't true. Like he's still in my mark.
Yeah, you should actually have it be that Zach
is questioning.
And literally, Alkaline just keeps staring at him. And you're like, that you can easily tell that DL and Alkaline are friendly, but DL has always treated their relationship as a friendship, while Alkaline has always treated him as an asset.
Actually, I think you're wrong on that.
Well, the cool thing about that, but that's like, but
I think it's there's a friendship, a paper thin friendship. They like each other. They like each other. They don't hate each other. It's not like something like they have personalities. They clash or anything. They don't mind being around each other, but that's about it. They treat each other as assets, which we'll find out.
all right.
Maybe more of a friendship on Alkalin's side, but we'll find that you'll find out. but I would have had something said there or revealed there that at least Zach can have something in new to have the part of the conversation that
Right.
throws something into this.
Oh, he just keeps giving it away.
Well,
He's in my mark.
No, I'm not talking
We've
about that.
known about this.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about for Zach and Ryan at the inn.
We're trying to rescue our friend, and Alkalin's
But-
like, I am not trying to give away every.
Well, he does.
DL
He does
DL's
tell
like,
him that. part.
I actually already know most of this information. I deal in
And then he's
information.
like,
You
I already
idiot."
know this information. How? I could be like, how do you know, bruh? It's like,
Whoa! How do you know that?
that kid right there just said it. Oh, he was.
Whoa! He's right next to me.
He was talking, bruh.
All I heard was a whining noise.
Yeah.
I thought I had tinnitus again.
But I would have something new information happen so we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
There, and then but yeah, put that part of with deal into the last chapter with the shorten of the bath scene and the heading to the store at the start of chapter 14. No, 15. Because I think it would fit better there.
All right.
But we'll see when we get to that chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that being said, Adam, do you have anything else you want to add to this episode?
It needs more Highlander.
I've been waiting for you to say that.
We finally got the swords. We finally have swords, but no trench coats. I don't know if I like
I'm
it.
surprised you didn't say it needed more Highlander in the last episode. But
Oh,
you-
no. We had enough in the last episode.
The swinging of the swords, that was enough Highlander for
Yeah. Yeah.
you? But not enough here. So do we have to double the number of Highlander in the next chapter?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. With that said, what are your thoughts of this chapter? Do you agree with us that it just kind of ends and it needs some reworking? Tell us down in the comment section. Since you made it to the end of this episode, we're assuming you enjoyed it, so why not go and smash that like button and do it as a prayer for the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got other writing content on this channel. It'll be on screen now. Pick something there. Maybe you're interested in some terrible gameplay. Adam?
You should check out ZOP Gaming. We put out videos every day.
Pick something, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.